Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and today I've got 5 tools that I would not buy again. And it doesn't mean they're bad or they're wrong or they're dangerous or anything like that. I just feel like I either overpaid or they're not quite delivering on their promise. And it doesn't mean that I won't have another 5 next week, but it means I've got 5 right here that I started thinking about and thought I might make a video. So number 1, right here, this Blue Point magnetic parts holder. This thing actually works fine. It's a solid, I assume that's a big ceramic magnet, Blue Point bowl. Works great, except I probably paid an extra $10 to have Blue Point stamped in the bottom because I have seen this exact same bowl, if you look at that, made in Taiwan, all over the place for a lot less. So basically I paid for the Blue Point. Now I have transcended my buying of these except for one that's still on order from Snap-on that we'll see if it ever shows up. But anyway, I make my own. So I will go get a metal, in this case a little stainless steel bowl, and I actually super glued a neodymium magnet to it and then put a piece of actually that's a Gorilla Tape, I guess. Covered it with Gorilla Tape. So this works solid. I mean, it's great. It actually holds stuff. It's a big magnet for neodymium, and it does great. And I can make any bowls I want, but I paid a bunch for this, and I wouldn't do it again. I would just go get one of the knockoffs or the ones where they don't have Blue Point on it, because it's probably exactly the same. Let me go to this. Now, you might think Mac Tools. This is actually a solid pair of 45-degree short-nosed, needle-nose pliers. I like these, but I bought the whole set of them. I think I had 8 or 9 of them together. I bought them used. Well, they were new, but at a used price. And I thought, wow, that's a great deal for the Mac pliers. And then I looked it up, and the entire set of 9 was like $100 or less than $100. And I thought, that's crazy cheap for Mac. And then I find out, well, they're all made overseas. And I was kind of disappointed, and then I started looking closer at the workmanship, and I could see some little flaws here and there, and they weren't closing quite as well. This one, however, is good, and it's the only one of the set that I kept. I sold off the rest for about what I paid for them to somebody else who thought, oh, cool, Mac Tools, great deal, whatever. This is the only pair of that 8 or 9 pair set I bought that I kept. And I've got a few others, but I like how beefy that is. I can really wail on it, and it's not a great loss if I happen to bend them or something. But that disappointed me with Mac. So I really had to learn that Mac Tools makes, their high-end US stuff, and then they make their other stuff. So I learned a lesson. The next is this. This is the Milwaukee. What is this? A little rotatable or adjustable level. You can actually set it. The problem is it is very difficult to use at actually the most common, or 0. So I just zeroed it. I don't know if that looks like 0 to you. Close, little off. It's very hard to get perfect. There's no indent or detent or anything. So if I try to line this thing up, squeeze it back and forth, maybe about right there, and then cinch this down. There's a little set screw there, supposedly holds it. Is that good enough? I don't know. This is one of my favorite mini levels, this Milwaukee. If I clip these together and hold them vertically, you can see that the bubbles are quite a bit different. I trust this one. So when I line that bubble up, I'm holding it vertically. It's a little harder to see, but to keep it accurate, right there. I'll drop it back. You can see the low bubbles off. I can't get it any better. So this is basically close enough kind of leveling. It is not a solid level, and this one cost more than this. This is like $25. Neat idea, but without a good, solid, accurate detent allowing me to zero it, it just basically makes me be able to move some measurements back and forth between projects. But as far as a 0, I can't count on it, so I wouldn't get one. Interesting, wouldn't get it. Next is this particular Klein utility knife. see if I can open it. I have to pop it free. It's actually a fairly good design. Nice, thin, skeletonized scales there. Pretty solid liner lockup. The problem is it's supposed to be a flipper, and I can't flip it. I cannot get that out of there. I'm denting this. I have to kind of work together, pulling and pushing. That's ridiculous. I cannot deploy it with that very easily. Ah, look at that. I'm denting my finger. Can't do it. Here's one of their earlier ones. This one was also very difficult to deploy. Trying to pop it free here. I can't. I have to loosen it. I'm using both fingers. There we go. Got it free. I don't know what their problem is. Ouch. What their problem in deployment is. I really like these knives. They've got good steel. They're nice design. This one's, a little on the sharp side. I've mentioned that before. Let me see if I can get this blade out here. There we go. This would be a great knife, but the detent is so strong that you can't open it. This, on the other hand, was a nice sleeper. This was like super cheap. It's a Husky. Nice little thin utility knife. I like this. Not the greatest, but definitely overperformed for what I paid for it. So I know there are some winners out there. And lastly, I got this a while ago. This is that Blue Point razor blade holder. It's rock solid, nice lockup. However, I've noticed two things in use. Number one, it is very slippery. It's like aluminum or something with a powder coating. Very slippery and very cold if you're using it outside, especially now as winter approaches. Work on windows or something. And the difference between these two, the price difference is like, I don't know, 4 times, 5 times. This thing, oops, I didn't need to loosen that. Sorry about that. But anyway, this thing has never let me down. Super cheap. Seems pretty solid. Comes with a cover that this doesn't, so I have to keep popping this razor blade out and flipping it, to store it, because I don't want to cut myself if I toss it into a tool bag or drawer. It's beautiful. Belongs in the Museum of Modern Art. Very nice. But this thing seems to do almost everything this does except the angle, but I don't even know if that matters, for a lot less and with better performance when it's not cutting. So it does about the same thing when it is cutting, and it's better when it's not. It's a lot lighter, doesn't transfer the heat. The blade change is just as easy. It's got a cover for it. This actually you can pop onto the back. So this cheap one way overperforms. This one way, to my feeling, underperforms. So anyway, here are 5 tools I would not buy again. Doesn't mean they're bad. It just means I've had some issues and I've learned some things. And with that, Doc out.